Hello, everyone. This is Rose. Today's topic from the Book of Life is His Stalker Becomes His Lover When Fear Turns to Sexual Curiosity. Let's take a look at this short story from the Book of Life. Kenneth Baldwin is a 40-year-old motivational speaker. He travels around the world speaking at seminars on how to reach your highest potential as an entrepreneur. Kenneth has written several books on becoming a business owner as well as how to grow your business. Occasionally, Kenneth will be invited to speak at private events. 3 years ago, Kenneth was speaking at a private event when some of the ladies became very aggressive with the event staff members when they were not allowed to personally socialize with Kenneth after the event was over. The event planner knew that Kenneth was having marital problems and did not want the ladies to bombard him with questions that wasn't pertaining to the speaking material. Kenneth had given the event planner a heads up about his marital situation. He had informed the event planner that he would not be available for Q&A after he leaves the podium, and unless the event planner felt that it was necessary, because after all, he had a contract with this event planner. This was a private event. It was not an event that he personally put on. So he tells the event planner, I suggest that we skip Q&A. I will have reading material out there, books and tapes for the attendees to purchase. But here's the reason why. So he tells them about his marital situation and how women have become aggressive in the past towards him when he's out at the tables after the event. He stated that he just did not want to bring that type of drama to this event planner venue, to what he was doing, what he had put together. So because Kenneth had given this event planner the heads up, the event planner agreed with Kenneth and thought, okay, well, I will get security to be here at the event. But if you think you giving a Q&A after the event or coming out to the table and signing books will become a problem, we will skip this. And I will just have security here in case the women that attend become aggressive towards my staff. So Kenneth was happy that the event planner understood and still felt that the contract was being honored between the two of them. After the event, security escorted Kenneth to his car. Of course, they did have some aggressive women that was angry that Kenneth did not come out to sign books or to have a Q&A with them. But nonetheless, for the most part, the event, everything went smoothly and quietly. So as the security was escorting Kenneth to his car, they noticed a lady in a white car following behind him. One of the security officers thought quick. He took out his phone and began to video record this white car following behind Kenneth. He was able to get a picture of the car as well as the woman in the car. He wasn't sure if the license plate was fully visible on the video, but he was glad that he was able to capture this woman following behind Kenneth. So he gave a copy of the video to the event planner. He informed the event planner of what happened, but he let him know they was able to securely get him in his car, but he forwarded a copy of the video to the event planner. The event planner looked at the video and he told his security that he would check in with Kenneth later to make sure all is well. For some reason, the event planner decided to wait till the next day to call Kenneth to see if he was okay and had made it home safe. He explained to Kenneth why. Kenneth tells the event planner that he believes a woman that was from the event had followed him home because after he arrived home, he was entering into his parking garage when he saw this woman jump out of a white car and try to run into the garage before the gate can close. He said it frightened him because the gate was coming down and she was trying to get under the gate and into the parking garage before it closed. Kenneth said the woman was unsuccessful, but he did notice this same woman was trying to get into his building as he stopped on the ground floor to check his mailbox. He tells the event planner, he said, I didn't give her any eye contact. He said, when I saw this woman, and she appears to be the same woman that tried to get in the gate, he said, I just turned my head from her, grabbed my mail, got back on my elevator. He said, I didn't know what she was capable of, and I was very grateful at that moment that I lived in a secure building where the doors remain locked until someone is buzzed in or use a key to get in. He said, but I wasn't sticking around to see if someone comes to the door and the door was open and I was no longer had security between me and this lady. He said, I got back on the elevator quickly and I head to my condo apartment. Kenneth expressed also that he was relieved that he had moved out of his family home into the condo where it was more secure, because he was fearful that these women who act in such an aggressive manner would be harmful, a threat to his wife and his kids. He was concerned and he was relieved at the same time. So as he's expressing this to the event planner, the event planner tells Kenneth about the video and said that he will forward it to him. Kenneth thanked the event planner, but before the event planner hung up, he tells Kenneth, before you go, I know you're gonna get out, you guiding towards getting off the phone, but before you go, I have a suggestion for you. I think that you should hire private security to escort you to and from speaking engagements until things calm down with these women. He's telling him, he said, sometimes these women can be a threat to where they can bring harm and don't realize what they're doing when they become aggressive. He says, so I suggest to you that you definitely get you some private security. He said, I'd supply some security here for you at the private event, but really the 2 guards I have was not enough to handle the multitude of people that was here should they had gotten out of hand. He says, so that's the suggestion I have to you. So Kenneth thanked the event planner. He thanked them for the call and for, checking in on him and for his suggestion. The next week, Kenneth had an out-of-town speaking engagement. This speaking engagement was an engagement put on by Kenneth and his staff. It was a seminar that he had out of town. He thought about what the event planner had said to him regarding the private event that he did for this event planner. The suggestion of getting private security. Kenneth thought about it. He rationalized it in his mind. He talked about the increase in cost that would be. He talked about how in the past, he thought to himself in the past, well, we never had any problems at my seminars that I gave. And the women at that time knew that I was separated from my wife, and it had went viral on social media, and they knew about it, and I didn't have any problems in the past. So he kind of minimized the suggestion that the event planner gave him by convincing himself the only place he had problems with progressive women was when he was in his hometown. He said, so this is going to be out of town. This seminar is out of town. So this should be okay. He rationalized it. This should be okay. So he heads to the airport. Kenneth head to the airport. And after departing from the plane, he gets off the plane. He goes and he picks up his luggage. He was happy to see that there was someone standing there holding up a sign with his name on it. It had been a long day and he wanted to rest before studying his notes for tomorrow's seminar. So during the seminar, Kenneth noticed a lady often standing for long periods of time as he was speaking. She would sit down briefly, but she would stand up longer than when she sat. And this was continuously throughout his speaking, as he was speaking. So it came to the part of the seminar where Kenneth normally, he will walk among the attendees and he would ask questions and he would give the person who was raising their hand to reply to the question he asked, he would give them a mic so that all can hear the reply to the question. But after seeing this woman stand up and down, and he recognized her briefly because she was far out in the audience, but he wasn't sure, but he was concerned if this was the woman that followed him home. So he decided during the break that he would tell one of his staff members that he wanted them to walk among the attendees after the break so that when he asked questions and people raised their hand, that he will point out to them the person that he will want them to take the mic to, and only give it to the person that he points out to answer the question. This was his way of keeping the mic out of the hands of the woman who continued to stand as he was speaking. So this is what happened. His staff member did exactly as he advised. So as the seminar was coming to an end, Kenneth informed the attendees that he would have tapes and written material in the back for sale. He informed the attendees that he would not be available for book signing at this time. Kenneth informed his assistants that he would not be personally signing books. He surprised his assistant when he stated this, because his assistant wasn't fully informed of what had happened at the private event. He wasn't sure why Kenneth was acting the way he was acting. He just knew that Kenneth had asked one of the staff members to go out and hand the mic to who he pointed out to receive the mic. He knew this was out of the ordinary, but the assistant still wasn't sure as to what was going on. He just thought that this was out of the norm and different for Kenneth, but he went along with it. So after Kenneth left the podium, he headed to the back room. And he sat in the back room until the staff came to let him know how things went with the selling of the tapes and the books and so forth. Kenneth took out his phone to review the video sent to him from the event planner from the private event. The video confirmed the lady standing during the seminar was indeed the same lady in the white car that had followed him home. This had him concerned because in his mind, he was thinking nothing was going to happen because this is an out-of-town event. What this woman, when she did what she did, it was in my hometown. Why would she follow me out of town? Now that she did, Kenneth has become very concerned about his safety. So Kenneth remains in the back until his staff members comes carrying the leftover tapes and books and informed him all had went well. Kenneth took this time to have a brief meeting with his staff before packing up to leave. He wanted to inform his staff of the incident at the private event. He also wanted to inform them about the lady that was among the guests at their seminar that very day. Therefore, he wanted them all to be careful as they exit the venue. He wasn't sure of what this lady was capable of, and they did not have security. But he promised his staff that he would hire private security for the remaining scheduled seminars on the calendar. He wanted them to know that their safety was his concern and that he didn't want them to feel that they would be threatened in any way or be subject to any type of harm at any of the future seminars they had on the calendar for the rest of the year. He was going to definitely have private security available. His assistant suggested to him, well, as of right now, everything is all good, but we're going to have 2 of the male staff members walk you with you to your car because we need someone to be able to witness this woman or video record this woman should she become aggressive with you. We don't think that, all the women would be out back waiting for you. But since you mentioned this particular woman at the private event, we think we can handle her today without security. Let's just have a couple of male staff members walk with you to your car, and so that we can secure you in your car and make sure no one is following you. And so this is what his assistant had done. However, as Kenneth was getting in his car, he did notice the same lady was getting into a cab. And he did mention that to his assistant. But the lady did not follow him. She was just getting into a cab. So he felt a little bit more secure and safe about the car not being followed. He was grateful he had arranged for a car to pick him up from the airport as well as take him back to the airport. And he was also grateful that his flight back home was on a red eye in the middle of the night because he felt a little bit safe in believing that this woman was not going to have a cab or sit at the airport all day waiting for him or all night waiting for him to fly out. So that helped him feel better about being out of town and catching a red eye in the middle of the night back to his hometown. Back home, Kenneth began to notice certain things. He began to notice that this stalker, is what he was calling her at this point, knew of his whereabouts. She was showing up at places that his staff did not even know that he was going to be at these particular places. But this lady from the white car knew of his whereabouts. He did not understand. He was wondering if she had placed a tracker device on his car. Kenneth went to the police to see how they could assist him with this stalker. Because the license plate on the video wasn't legible and Kenneth did not know his stalker name, there wasn't anything the police could do. One night, Kenneth was just frustrated about what was taking place. This stalker had totally consumed his life. His life was just placed on hold. He was in fear. The women was aggressive at his seminars, angry because he did not engage with them afterwards. He didn't know what to do. He was just so frustrated till he began to drink. And he drank a bottle of wine and was on his way to drinking a second bottle when he decided to call his friend to express his frustration over the phone. He was just tired of living inside a box, literally, because he couldn't go nowhere. He calls up his friend and he tells him, he said, "Man, William, this woman has totally changed the way I move in life. It has been 2 years since she started stalking me and I haven't been on a date or had a woman in my bed." "That sucks," shouts William. William said, "How are things going with your wife? Does she know about the stalker?" "Yeah, man, I called her to inform her why I haven't come by the house to see the kids. I told her about this stalker. I told her I was concerned, about this stalker, knowing where the kids live, knowing where she lives, or seeing who my kids were by seeing me in public with them. So she has her cousin John, brings the kids to my place to visit with me every time I visit with my kids. I can't take my kids anywhere, man. All I can do is see them when they come to my house when John brings them for us to visit. He said, I fear being seen in public with my kids because I don't know what this woman is capable of, and I don't want her to harm my kids." So his friend William tells him, "What makes you think this woman will harm you or your kids?" Kenneth said, "I don't know what this woman is capable of. It's obvious to me something is mentally wrong with her. Who in their right mind stalks someone for a little over 2 years?" So William, being the man that he is, thinking like a man, he asked Kenneth, "Is the woman attractive?" "Man, William, what does her looks or her being attracted have to do with anything? Yes, she is very attractive girl. That's what makes me feel she has to be mentally challenged. A woman with her looks can easily get a man. Instead, she is wasting her time and life following me around. Kenneth did not ever think that he would be in this position. So William tells him, Kenneth, did you ever consider that maybe this lady has a false perception of love and thinks what she is doing is showing you love? Oh, hell no, William. You are trying to tell me that this woman could be in love with me? Yes, that is what I'm saying. She never tried to hurt you. She just shows up everywhere you are. Man, William says, or Kenneth says, man, if you are right, the way I feel right now, I would give her something to go crazy about. I have all this pent up sexual tension. So, he tells him, how am I to find out what her true intentions is towards me? William thought for a minute. Then he tells Kenneth, well, okay, tomorrow is Saturday. How about I pick up you for a day at the gym? I'll come pick you up so you ain't got to worry about her trailing you to the gym. So I pick you up for a day at the gym. Now, if this woman is truly a stalker, after me picking you up, and she shows up at the gym, then I will confront her. I will confront her and simply ask her reasons for following you around and stalking you. Kenneth thinks about it. He said, okay, William, I guess that's all I got. Police won't help me. That sounds good. He said, I need for this to end. I want my life back to normal. Okay, Kenneth, I'll pick you up tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right, William, I'll see you tomorrow. Kenneth and William end their phone call. Kenneth began to think about what William had said to him about this woman. He said, in love with me? Man, I never thought of it like that. Next you know, Kenneth in bed fantasizing about this woman becoming his lover. After William put something on his mind, he's like, she is attracted. So now he's fantasizing about her becoming his lover. So the next day, as promised, William arrives at Kenneth's condo at 11 o'clock. They went to the gym, didn't see no signs of the woman following them. But it was weird because they were in the gym approximately 20 minutes lifting weights when the stalker walks past them, then turns around to stare at Kenneth. Kenneth jumped. William say, what's up, man? Kenneth whispered to William, that's her. The one in the pink sexy bodysuit. The one over there staring at us. That's her, man. William looks around. He sees the woman. He said, okay, let me handle this. He walks up to her, the stalker. He looks at her. He says, hello, my name is William. She says, hi, William. He tells her, he said, my friend tells me you have been following him around for over 2 years. She says, is that all he told you about me? William looked at her. He tells her, yes, that's all he told me. He doesn't know you. in order to tell me anything other than you are stalking him. The lady says, oh, so is that what he calls it? Well, I'm like, what the hell? You tell me. What should he call it? Why do you follow him around? She looks at William for a minute before she answered. Then she says, I am in love with him. So William says, he changed his tone a little bit. He was a little aggressive with him. He changed his tone. He says, if you are in love with him, why haven't you approached him or his staff to introduce yourself? I have tried to approach him, states the lady. Each time he sees me, he runs or his staff have security block me from approaching him. So William tells him, okay, well, he is here at the gym without security. And your way of introducing yourself is to walk past him, then turn to just stare at him? How is that trying to get to know someone personally? She tells him, I am shy when it comes to speaking to someone for the first time that I have feelings for. She said, usually I stand and stare at the person as I am mentally encouraging myself to speak to them. She said, I was about to speak to him when you approached me. She said, I don't want you to think that this is something I do often, but when I do like a person, there's only been one other occasion other than this one where I just stand back and look and encourage myself to approach them to speak. So William said, what is your name? My name is Jasmine. He says, nice to meet you, Jasmine. Let me ask you a personal question. He says, I need you to be honest with your answer. He says, I'm looking out for my friend. Let's just say, today, I am his security. The question is, have you ever been hospitalized for mental illness or restrained against your will for a mental illness evaluation? William, states the lady, I am not mentally ill. I might do things oddly different from how most people handle situations or behave. However, this doesn't make me mentally unstable. To answer your questions more directly, I have never ever been hospitalized or restrained against my will for mental illness or mental evaluation. Okay, Jasmine, let me introduce you to my friend. I need for you to stay right here and wait until after I go over here and talk to him. I need to prepare him for you approaching him. So Jasmine said, okay. She stood right there, did not follow behind William as William went over to talk to Kenneth. William informs Kenneth of the conversation he had with Jasmine. He also tells Kenneth that he doesn't feel that Jasmine is a threat to him. He explained to Kenneth why he don't feel Jasmine is a threat. He asked Kenneth, he said, man, I think you need to talk to her. This is the only way you're going to end this. The police is not helping you. No one is helping you. You said this has been going on for over 2 years. How else is you going to end this if you don't talk to the woman? So Kenneth agreed to meet with her. William goes back to Jasmine to escort her over to Kenneth. William introduces Jasmine to Kenneth. Jasmine holds out her hand to shake Kenneth's hand as she says hello. After Kenneth says hello, before he can even say anything else out his mouth, Jasmine immediately begins to apologize to Kenneth for following him around for over 2 years. She states that she did not know he defined her behavior as stalking until William called her a stalker. Jasmine tells Kenneth that she is a fan who has attended his seminars and other events. He spoke that for years. She admits her thoughts of him and her becoming a couple spiral out of control when she read on social media that he was separated from his wife. She says in her mind she was trying to beat the other women to him. She thought if she wore bright, sexy outfits to his seminars, he would notice her. But it didn't work. She said it didn't work. She said, so I decided to stand at your seminars in my bright, sexy clothes, hoping to capture your attention. She says, looking back on her actions, she realized she looked like a mentally ill person. She tells him for these reasons, she wanted to apologize to him again. Kenneth felt the sincerity in her apology. He's realized she did not sound like someone who was mentally unstable. Kenneth accepts Jasmine's apology. They begin to the three of them stand there and talk for brief moments at the gym, to the point where Kenneth became comfortable with standing near Jasmine without feeling like she was a threat to him. He was so happy this nightmare has come to an end. Kenneth and Jasmine exchanged phone numbers before they left the gym. They talked on the phone every day for a week before Kenneth invited her over to his condo for a glass of wine. Wow! Only for a week? And she gets an invite to his condo for a glass of wine? Okay. Okay, Kenneth, what's going on? Kenneth and Jasmine fantasies are now their reality. They are officially each other's lover. Click the thumbs up and the subscribe button to receive notifications of more articles from the Book of Life. Be blessed and safe. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Peace, people. Bye.